It's very difficult to try to speak to the bill at this point since most of us haven't had a chance to really look at it, but I assume we all know what we're talking about. Right to work for less, freedom to freeload, whatever you want to call it, that's the bill we're debating right now. And I don't come from an area that has a real strong labor tradition. Most of the people, when they think of Michigan and our labor heritage, think of Southeast Michigan. They don't think of West Michigan, or particularly not Kent County. I suspect I'll be the only member from Kent County here today voting against this bill. But I will tell you this, I always thought that the place I came from had a basic sense of fairness and personal responsibility. And with this bill, allowing people to benefit from the hard work that others do without personally having to sacrifice 1 penny is the very epitome of freeloading. That's what it is. It allows people to take advantage of other people. That's what we're voting on today. For instance, why can't I go into Cascade Country Club, where the prime mover of this legislation, Mr. DeVos from Amway, has a membership, and ask to be treated in the same way? That's exactly what we're talking about today. Freedom to freeload, to free ride. And it's particularly unfortunate that a bill that probably has the highest public policy impact of any that we've debated here, and in the last 50 years, the other side didn't have the common courtesy or the guts to allow the public to hear what they were doing. No committee hearings, no opportunity to debate amendments, no public input, Republican staffers in the gallery taking up seats so that taxpayers who traveled across the state to get here are locked out. I heard one of our colleagues talk about the great transparency we have in this chamber since the latest leadership has come in. This is transparency? This is what passes for transparency here? If you support this legislation, and I respect the sponsor of the amendment because he's been very clear over the last 2 years about why he thinks the state should go this route, but the rest of the people here don't have the guts to talk about this in front of people in this state. That's shameful. That's not democracy. This is where democracy goes to die today. Because the majority in this state, who lost 52% of the vote in state house races, does not have the guts to defend this. I haven't heard one person demand that we have a committee hearing on this. This was announced today by the governor that this was going through, with an appropriation. Not even willing to take this to the voters. I've heard people talk that this is retribution for Proposition 2. And whatever you think about Prop 2, one thing's clear. The sponsors of that had the common courtesy to take it to the voters. They got beat, fair and square. Why can't you take this to the voters? Because you know what'll happen. You're doing this in lame duck because you know next session you won't have the votes. This is an outrage. And anybody in this chamber who is willing to vote for a bill that changes the precedent in this state of such consequence without even allowing us to offer a real amendment does not deserve to be here. Thank you.